We're gonna go Trump downtown. What does Trump downtown mean? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Right up here is on the right, 1308 Elston, where the immigration shelter used to be. I like Best Buy. Best Buy is on the right. Oh, Beavis and Butthead. Trump Live or Beavis and Butthead? What do you guys want to see? Comment, quick. I'm just going to click on Beavis and Butthead so it's in my saved videos. Hang on. I want to watch this. This one looks funny.
We need to teach these bees a lesson.
Look, right now, let's go to Trump talking.
Make fun of you dumb bugs. Want to keep your hairline where it is? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options that work best for you, so you can grow visibly thicker and fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. Keep it looking strong for years to come with doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride, minoxidil.
Fuck you. They don't pay me, they don't endorse me, they can fuck off. We're on a commercial break. What the fuck? Hang on, no commercial break. Let's rewind. How long have they been on a commercial break?
Nothing had changed in terms of the facts of the case. Nothing had changed in terms of the law. Nothing changed in terms of the evidence. All that had changed was that he made this political alignment with Donald Trump. She resigned rather than participate in that corrupt bargain, as did her deputy, who said it would take a fool or a coward to accept that deal. He also clerked for a conservative Supreme Court justice and was active in the Federalist Society, and 5 other lawyers dropped out rather than do it until finally they had to force somebody to do it from D.C. who said he'd be willing to do it because he was about to leave his job. You say let's base it on the facts, and I'm really curious about the Signal Group chat thing, because the country's in an uproar about the fact that the most precious national security information was shared on a Signal Group chat, where a journalist was actually invited in accidentally by somebody to participate. And some of my colleagues seem to say, well, it was a one-shot deal, let's just let it go, and it's no big deal. The FBI director's already said, no, nothing to see there. If this
Nothing
were
to see there, that sounds shady.
Just a yes or no, do you think it would be a problem?
That would be a problem, yes.
And Ms. Parker, do you agree it would be a problem if it were a standard practice?
I understand.
We can't see Trump Tower yet, but we can see the Sears Tower.
We've got a little time. If you can
A mistake was made, and
okay, Mr. Stout, can you say, would it be a problem for it to be standard practice to conduct sensitive foreign policy on a Signal chat group?
Yes, I will.
Okay, and Mr. Whitson, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree,
Well, it just came out like 10 minutes ago. Waltz's team set up at least 20 Signal group chats for crises across the world.
What?
So it was, as one might
Waltz?
expect, a very standard practice with Mr. Waltz.
Fuck
and
Tim
I'm sure
Waltz.
this will raise the question of whether or not he really should continue that position.
Nah,
But
I don't think he should.
do you think that the FBI should investigate what the national security implications and what the public safety implications are of his having done that, Dr. Hunt?
Pretty
So this
bad, I
comes
would
back to the
say.
rule of law. As an FBI agent, there were strict rules about sensitive material. We had to be in a skiff. We had to
There's
take the
Martin
utmost
Salt
caution.
coming up on the
so
left.
to treat other people that are more
1308
powerful
Elston,
differently.
where they
That's
were
what suggests to me
fucking
a deviation
spending
from
all
the
these money
rule
on
of
these
law.
fucking immigrants.
thank you, and I
but
go
they
back to
could,
Mr.
oh, it's funny how they fixed the road that the
Thank
immigrants
you,
were by,
gentlemen.
though.
There's a difference between
I think
a
they fixed this
mistake
road when they were still
and
here, in fact.
purposeful, perpetrated policy
Before they knew they were
of
really
law.
leaving.
This point.
Yeah. They fixed this
Beat you to
road about 8
I
months ago.
recognize the chairman
It's funny
of
how
the
they
whole
fixed the
committee.
road by the
Thank you,
migrants
Mr.
where they
Chair.
were
Mr.
formerly living.
Whitson, before you got
It's like
what
all
Mr.
that
Johnson described as
for a
high-paying
building
job
now
as
that's
senior
pretty much ruined. Who
director
knows
of
what
Federal
crazy
Affairs
diseases they
Foundation
got
for
in there. They
Government
got
Accountability.
tuberculosis on the
You
walls,
worked for the FBI,
probably.
is that right?
Fucking foreign diseases I've
10
never
years in
heard
the
of.
FBI?
Yes.
That was the building.
And prior to that, you were in the United States Army?
Yes, sir.
300 combat missions in Iraq, is that right?
Yes, sir.
In your time at the FBI, you were special agent in the supervisory special agent in the Directorate of Intelligence. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. In your testimony,
We're going on
and I
to
just wanna
Goose
get this
Island
married
now.
with this subject. In your testimony, you said one of the ways we can eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse is including the overspending on confidential human sources. Said that in your testimony, right?
Yes, Jim.
Are you familiar with the Inspector General's report about the confidential human sources who were there on January 6, 2021 here at the Capitol? Have you read the
I
report?
haven't read that.
And that
Well,
wasn't
let
an
me tell you a few
insurrection.
things
That
to
was
say
a
then, I'll
guided
ask
tour
you
with
questions.
bad actors
You said
that
there were
weren't even
26
Republicans in it.
confidential human sources
Just
there at
saying.
the Capitol that day. Does that surprise you?
No.
Doesn't surprise you. Okay. You said 17 of those 26 confidential human sources entered restricted space they weren't allowed to go into.
And
Does
they
that
need to get
surprise you?
them mayors of all these
No.
fucking
Doesn't surprise
sanctuary
me. Did you think
cities
they were
back in
allowed to do it?
Congress
Well, I
again,
need
too.
more details
Okay.
about, so were they doing it on their own? Were they told to do it? Were they, that kind of thing?
No. I
You
got
wanna know
red
the
lights.
answers
Why
to
y'all
those
still
questions?
turning?
Yes, sir.
4 of them went inside the Capitol, and 2 of the 4 who went inside the Capitol were specifically asked by the FBI to be there that day for this. Does that surprise you?
Not necessarily,
Not
but
necessarily.
I need to know more facts.
And does it surprise you that any of them, none of these individuals, to our knowledge, were charged with anything?
No, I mean, if they were
Thank
tasked
you.
to be there,
Okay.
I would need more information.
Okay, but in your testimony, you talk about overspending on the confidential human
Now
sources.
we're on
You
an
believe
island
it's-
where
is
the
it
geese
likely
have
these 26 were being
flown
paid
for
by the
over
FBI
like
to sign their
150
agreements?
years, and they always
I think
stop
that's-
here
if
on
they're
Goose
a
Island.
confidential human source that's actually on the books.
For over
then
150 years, whenever they fly north and south, they faithfully stop right here on Goose Island. Still to this very
So if
day.
they weren't asked to be there, I think
Probably for
usually
like 200-300 years. I don't know how long
like a
Goose
lump
Island's
payment
even been here.
periodically,
I
so
think
it
it's
wouldn't be for
man-made. I don't
specific
remember.
testing necessarily. It'd be hard to answer that.
Are you familiar with what was released here earlier this week, the text communications between FBI agents regarding October 14th, 2020 New York Post story on the Hunter Biden laptop? Have you had a chance to review those?
Laptop
I
is
haven't
out.
seen those text messages.
Let me just read a couple to you here. It says, nobody on the call is authorized to comment on the New York Post story. Twitter is treating this as disinformation. I just want to read something that took place earlier that day. The way this day worked is the story came out. That day, Elvis Chan, a guy with the FBI, is meeting with the tech company, something he did on a regular basis in the run-up to the
Now we're
2020
exiting Goose
presidential
Island.
election. At that meeting, someone asked, hey, there's this New York Post story. Is the laptop real? And we know this took place because we deposed Mr. Brady Olson, and he gave us this information. And he said, when that question was asked, the response was, yes, the laptop is real. Then we get these text messages, which we didn't have before, we just got them this week. These text messages which relate what happens after that. So the FBI has confirmed to Twitter
There's
at
Trump
a Twitter
Tower.
meeting
Can't see it
on
in the
October
camera.
14th that the laptop is real. And then we have these text messages back and forth where they says no one is authorized to comment further.
Right there's
Twitter
Trump
is
Tower. The
treating this
sign's
as
blocking it.
disinformation.
The Exxon sign.
You find that troubling that the FBI knew something was real, confirmed it at a meeting,
Yeah, I find
then
that pretty
changed their
troubling.
story and went to no comment, no further comment, and
Put them
allowed
gas
the tech
prices
companies
down,
to
President
run
Trump,
with the idea
please.
that this story was disinformation.
Yeah, I do think that's problematic, and I do think
Get
that
that, let's see those gas
relationships that
prices fall
they try
for
to build with members of the
Liberation
FBI
Day.
with these other
Today's new
organizations
holiday. There's
are
Trump Tower, by
problematic.
the
Yeah,
way.
and the ranking member said all the Republicans.
He's got a
want to say
big,
the
tall,
FBI was
nice,
political.
shafty
And this
tower.
really wasn't the
It's
case. If
shiny,
this is not
big,
political, I
tall,
do not
hard.
know what is. Because this was the whole basis for the,
Right there, I
the
think you can see
51
it.
former
Hopefully I got it
intel
on the
officials
camera.
doing their letter. And the FBI knew. Now we have written evidence they knew, coupled with the deposition we took before, where they admitted this. And then later in the day, when they're meeting with other tech companies, they go with no comment.
Ha.
And they even admit here, Twitter is running with the disinformation story. Even before the 51 intel officials come out with their letter, which is baloney, they're running
It
with
is
that.
baloney.
And the FBI
Just say
is part
bullshit.
of fostering and promoting that stuff.
Fuck baloney. It's
It's
bullshit.
unacceptable.
Totally unacceptable.
And it shows how one bad apple, and there were probably others, but you can see how much of a problem that is. And that one bad apple behaves that way, the entire Bureau's reputation is impacted.
Yeah.
Trust is lost
Sure
across
is.
the country. And so that's why it's so important to find folks like that, going back to the entrenched bureaucrats.
Yes.
You have to find them and remove them because that's all it takes.
And I
Is one
think
bad
I
apple.
think that was point one in your testimony.
Just like at
which is
January
exactly
6th,
what
how we had that
Ms.
one bad
Gandhi
apple.
And Mr. Patel are doing is getting rid of those individuals who foster
Well,
this
many
kind of
bad
political
apples,
environment where you're going after your political foes, where you're telling things, saying things, allowing things to be believed that aren't accurate when you knew the truth all along.
That's right.
There you are.
All right, that subcommittee hearing's still underway right now, really just getting underway as we're hearing from witnesses questioned by lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, all related to the FBI and its leadership in the Biden administration.
We're going to step away for a 2-minute commercial break, but a lot more of that hearing coming up in just a few. My name is Josh Breslow, and you're watching Live Now from Fox.
Is gonna copyright me. We're on the commercial now. Let's go to something else. Let's watch Beavis and Butthead. Of course, I put the pictures over there. Go there. Fucking paper. You motherfucker. Damn it. Fuck. How do I share the video? Hold on one second, I'm trying to figure out how to share the video. 1 second. Technical difficulties. Hold on, be right back. This was the stupidest route I could have took.
Don't feel what? Besides, you got like protective gear. Doesn't like protecting from the bees? Yep. Okay. Get that honey, baby. You look silly. Look at all the honey, Venus. We're gonna be rich. We'll be right back. We've only got the service tower right here.
I wasn't even trying to pass the Sears Tower. That was the first tallest building in Chicago, and then they built the Sears Tower. This used to be called the John Hancock. I really got a magnet for this camera. That is so freaking annoying. Alright, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. We'll be back. Thanks for watching, yo.